الدنيا تضيق خلقك، الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك. هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك، بس بلاش العين. لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك، الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك. هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك، بس بلاش العين.
سيد الأولين والآخرين وحبيب رب العالمين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، رضي الله عن أزواجه وأصحابه وأحبابه والتابعين، وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الأولين، وصل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الآخرين، وصل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين، وعنا معهم يا ربنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، غير فاتنين ولا مفتونين. أما بعد، فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here amongst you today in Sayyidina Uwais al-Qarni Masjid Islamic Center. And we've always had this relationship to Sayyidina Uwais al-Qarni radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, this tabi'i who was filled with love, and that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam mentions him and speaks about him, and that his end is like his beginning. Like Sayyidina ibn Ata'illah rahimahullah says, "Man ashraqat bidayatuh, ashraqat nihayatuh." Whose beginning is bright, his end is also bright. And whose beginning is right, his end is right. That's how it works. Sayyidina Uwais radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, his beginning was right, so his end is right. And therefore he fell as shaheed in between the hands of Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So, amongst the things of these people, of the Salihin radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, was the dhikr of Allah ta'ala. And the dhikr of Allah ta'ala is the thing that keeps everything going. And without the dhikr of Allah ta'ala, nothing goes. Everything is in the dhikr of Allah ta'ala. Everything that doesn't have an accountability is automatically in the dhikr of Allah ta'ala. Yani meaning everything that doesn't, Allah did not give them a choice. The human beings, Allah gave them a choice in their mind. And the jinn, Allah gave them a choice. Everything that Allah did not give a choice, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, wa in min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdih. Everything but is in tasbih and dhikr of Allah. And even the human being, despite their mind, or the jinn, despite their taklif and mind, but all the things in them, all the cells in them, everything in them is in constant tasbih to Allah Ta'ala. They're only accountable for their conscious decision making. That's the one that they're accountable with. But everything else that they have no control over is also under the tasbih to Allah Ta'ala. But even their brain that they think they have control over is still the property of Allah. And it is also under tasbih to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. And I think we are fortunate today that we gathered at this time in this blessed house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I see that you're building a big masjid, inshallah, next door. May Allah ta'ala make it, inshallah, a very fruitful venture. And may Allah write for you as people who are establishing the houses of Allah everywhere. Like, and it is from the madhanna, or from the perception that of acceptance, or signs of acceptance, that we are gathered here today at this time in this place. Because we could be, after praying Isha, everybody is in his home, like most people. Or they are with other people. And like most people, at this point in time, their ham and fikr and thought is about the dunya. And from the signs of acceptance is that Allah Ta'ala brought us at this time and we talk about Him. and we talk about his Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while many other people or most other people at this point are not talking about Allah Ta'ala or his Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is a sign of acceptance, inshaAllah, that this majlis of ours and that this gathering of ours is accepted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He brought our hearts and our minds together. La ilaha illallah Sayyidina Muhammadun Rasulullah. Al-dhikr is something that is underestimated by many people. Yani especially when they think about the dhikr, they say, but we're always doing dhikr. We're doing salah every day. We're doing qira'at al-Quran every day. We're doing our awrad and wadha'if every day, etc., etc. Like when you look at the reality of people, most people are in absolute ghafla, absolute heedlessness and absenteeism from Allah. Total. Even during their ibadah, they are in ghafla from Allah. Even while they're praying, they are in ghafla. Why they pray? Allahu Akbar, but the heart is busy with the dunya. Even when they're doing siyam, it's busy with the dunya. And what people don't realize is dunya is very life is very fragile. Like this. Like this. Very fragile. And eventually or immediately, Allah knows. When the time, Allah knows. Has nothing to do with illness, has nothing to do with how many healthy people Allah took, how many young people Allah took, how many old people Allah took. Oh, there's no standard for that except the knowledge that Allah Ta'ala has. And therefore, people sometimes they take their dunya and their life for granted. For given, it's there. And the most precious thing you have after Iman is the time. One of our shuyukh, Shaykh Al-Fattah Abu-Ghudda rahimahullah ta'ala used to say, وَالْوَقْتُ أَثْمَنُ مَا عُنِيتَ بِحِفْظِهِ وَأَرَاهُ أَسْهَلُ مَا عَلَيْكَ يَضِيعُ. And time is the most precious thing Allah gave you after Iman, basically. Yani meaning, after Iman, time is the most precious thing Allah gave you. And how do you invest it? It's like you have wealth. If you have money, you start looking, right? Where do I invest this? What's my ROI? 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%? Bismillah. Huh? Maybe if you say 20%, they don't say Bismillah, they just go. Huh? And then they lose everything, because with no Bismillah, you're going to lose even if they tell you 50%. It's a trap. When it's too good to be true, it usually is. That's what they say. La ilaha illallah. So therefore, but the time is more precious than wealth. Because health, you can lose it, you can get it back. Wealth, you can lose, you can get back. Job, you can lose, you can get back. Position, you lose, you get back. Name, you lose, you get back. Fame, you lose, you get back. You can never get back time. Decree by Allah. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي قَضَاءً مُبْرَمًا مُحْكَمًا. Absolute decree. You can't get 1 second back. This second now, this few minutes that we were just mentioning and making salam and salam and salam on Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can't get them back. So there are many spectators. They come and they're just thinking about everything else. Well, there are some people who are trying to invest that time, precious time, with the dhikr of Allah. Some people are observers, as usual. Like the people who go to Hajj, you see them. They go to Hajj and Umrah, they look at the building, subhanallah, mashallah. They look at the bricks, mashallah. They look at the arches, mashallah. Winter, are you going to look at the arches? Is that why you're going to Hajj? Oh, you're looking at the bricks? The only reason we kiss the Kaaba is because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kissed it. It's not because of we kiss it because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kissed it. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, Wallahi inni la'alamu annaka hajar. I know you're a stone. ولولا أني had I not seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kiss you, I wouldn't have kissed you. And you go there so you can get these. You're walking the footsteps of Ibrahim. You're walking the footsteps of Maqam Ibrahim alayhi salam is right there. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyidina Ali, all the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. So time, I think, is a very precious thing. And that's why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam always told us or instructed us how and with whom to spend our time. Not just how, with whom. What kind of suhbah or sahib. Huh? Sahib yani companion. Suhbah, companionship. Why? Because they always say as-sahib sahib. The one who accompanies you pulls you his direction. If he's good, you go to the good. If he's bad, you go, you know how it is. It rubs off. كحامل المسك ونافخ الكير. الحديث في الصحيح. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم compares the suhbah of the people, the one who sells fragrance and the one who is the blacksmith. If you're with the blacksmith, I mean, your whole clothing is going to be, if you're with the fragrance seller, the perfume seller, you're going to smell good even if you don't sell anything. It's not your job. Therefore, I say always, look, time, and nowadays we live in an era or in a time of the end of the Akhir zaman. We are in the end of times. Yawm al-Qiyamah already started. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, بعثت أنا والساعة كهاتين. الحديث الصحيح. I was sent and the day of judgment like this. So the day of judgment already started. If you say the day of judgment is 50,000 years, 50,000 سنة, أو بألف سنة مما تعدون, 1,000 years, it's already there. Congratulations.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك. الحمد لله تافل وضح من حقك. بس
You don't need to wait, it's already happening. Amongst the signs of the day of judgment or Akhir zaman, no barakah. No barakah in the money. A lot of money, no barakah. A lot of possessions. We all have so many possessions. No barakah. I enter, I look at my closet. Then you say, man, but I remember my father, my grandfather, they had 2-3 things, that's it. That's it. 2-3 things, maybe 4 things. One set for Eid. Every Eid you wear the same thing. And one set is one you wear it for a whole 2 years. Once it's gone, then only one, there is no hope in salvaging it. Then you throw it away. Then no, you don't throw it away. You cut it, you make it into other things. Maybe you use it as something. Hey, subhanallah. Now you go and look, what color should I have? Which this. But there's no barakah. We have more money. We earn in 1 month more than our grandparents earned in their whole life. Literally in their whole life. Okay, so we say 1 year maybe. So I don't exaggerate. And you say you're exaggerating. I don't make that much money, but just in case you're thinking, Sheikh, what's the number? You don't want to know my numbers, trust me. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. الغنى غنى النفس. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. نعم حديث صحيح. طيب. لكن we make in 1 year more than our grandparents made in their whole lifetime. No barakah. Children. So we have more, and we live, the homes that we live in the old days, your grandparents lived in a couple of rooms. A couple of rooms, that means you had space. One room for living, one room for sleeping. That's it. خلاص. Then you make little room for kitchen. Bismillah. There's no barakah. But the worst of it is the time is no barakah anymore. Like this it goes. You close your eyes, you're 40. The young people here who are less than 40, they still think, oh, 40? Blink, you're 40. Blink, you're 50. Now you start seeing the people who are with you, one is gone. Azrael comes and takes one by one. You start seeing the other one is gone. Other one is gone. So then the reason for that is that when you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have no excuse. You say, what? Death came to me suddenly. No, did not come. It took your friend and took this guy and took your neighbor and didn't you think this was messages for you also? He knocked the neighbor's house, but that was also a message for you. For him, the message was when he knocked his neighbor's house. Of course. And that's from itmam al-hujjah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfects, or He makes that the proof on you is over and over. You have no excuse really. So I always say, look, with this, when you have a session to sit and mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mention Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't waste your time. Really use it. Use it and put your heart and bring Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's observance in your heart, the muraqabah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. Don't underestimate 5 minutes of dhikr of Allah. Wallahi, this 5 minutes, it may be worth than your whole life. Whole life. Because once the angel of death comes, Malakul Maut comes, you now own nothing. No degrees. All the positions you held in the dunya mean nothing. Nobody knows you. Even your children now, they already think post you. If you have children, they think, all right, so who's going to take the house? Who's taking the car? Right away, it's done. You haven't even departed yet. You're still saying, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. They're already beyond the La ilaha illallah. They said, okay, so who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? Okay, our father was a good man. Allah yarhamuhu. That's it. And you're lucky if they remember you once a year, once a week. If they remember you once a week, mashallah. You go like you came. You take your deeds with you. You take what you have done with you. You take moments like this, inshallah, with you. Moments like this, you can bank on them. That's good credit. Good LC. Line of credit for الآخرة. آخرة LC. أبدا. Why? No, look, all of us, many of us, maybe we don't know, I don't know many of you, maybe some of you don't know me as well. And we have all kinds of people here what brought us together? Allah. Why are we sitting? You could be sitting with your families now. What brings you here? The love of Allah in your heart brought you here. There's nothing else. There's no one's distributing money. No one is giving anything. Allah. These moments that maybe we can take. We say, Ya Allah, we hope that this was sincere for you, selfless for you. And we came and we feel that we love each other for your sake. Right? Well, I say that to you, so I love all of you for Allah's sake. لأن الحديث الصحيح النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, talk about 7 of a 7th. Remember the hadith? The 7 people that will be granted the shade in the day of judgment. Because in the day of judgment, we're going to go like we go to Hajj. Today I was telling them about Hajj. In Hajj, when you have the ihram, right? You put the towels around you. The towels don't have pockets in them. For a reason. Doesn't matter what you have in your pocket. You don't need pockets. Because the akhirah you don't have, it's pocketless. You go with your amal. What's your deed? What did you do in the dunya? Pocket, ID, whatever it is, all that business, or You put money or something, then no accept. Doesn't accept. Credit card, akhirah doesn't accept. Decline. Right? You take a credit card with you to the akhirah, they declines. Doesn't work. Huh? No connection. The only thing that connects is وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا. They cooperate بالحق. They cooperate with each other on good things. And today in the world is starving for love. And starving for the love of Allah. Even those people who don't believe in Allah. There is a need. They don't see that love of Allah. Usually people who are sometimes take a reactionary course against love are those who need love most. Lot of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. You remember some people used to come. That Sahabi that came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith sahih. He was fighting. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was caught. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought him to Medina, and they tied him in the masjid. There's no prison system. He tied him in the masjid. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, so what should we do with you? He's a prisoner of war, was fighting the people trying to kill them because they're Muslims. He says, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. No, he doesn't believe in Allah. He was fighting the Muslims, trying to kill them. He says, Ya Muhammad, if you free me, I will not forget that favor for you. If you want money, put the number you want. He comes from a big tribe. What money do you want as a substitution? Put whatever number, no problem. And if you free me like this, I come from a big tribe, I will remember this, and you know. Next day, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam left him. Left him. Where? In the prophetic masjid in Medina al-Munawwara. So what is he doing? They're giving him food, everything. What is he doing? He sees the Sahaba radiallahu anhum praying every day. He sees the Prophet ﷺ interacting with them. He's a prisoner, but he's seeing that. Next day, the same thing, and the Prophet ﷺ comes and tells him, what do we do? He said, Ya Muhammad, if you let me go, I will never forget that favor. If you want money, right, whatever money you want, Bismillah, I'm ready. He left him. Next day, same. The third day, the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, set him free. Go. Huh? Nothing? Nothing. I can go, you can go. Like this? Yeah. Go. He went out of Medina. He washed up and came back, says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Subhanallah. He says, Ya Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah. He says, there was no one on the face of the earth that's more hated in my heart than you. And there is no one on the face of the earth that's more beloved to me than you. Allah. There was no deen on the face of the earth I used to hate more than yours. And there is no deen on the face of the earth I used to love but yours. Or I love now but yours. There is no city or place in the world I used to hate more than yours. And there is no city or place I love now more than yours. That change is because the Prophet ﷺ gave this man an opportunity to see what the ummah is like. The working. The Sahaba had people who are rich, people who are poor, people who are educated, people who are unlettered. The whole society was going there before him.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله تافر وضح من حقك بس
Today, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, we have a duty to the world out there, whether they love you back or don't love you back, but that you do offer the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to them, meaning the rahmah, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is rahmah lil alameen, and rahmah is a kind of love. A kind of love is rahmah. So that we have to offer, but number one, we can't offer love to others if we don't have it ourselves. فاقد الشيء لا يعطي. If you don't have something, you can't offer it. If I don't have $10 in my pocket, I can't give it to you. Change someone to something else. الحديث صحيح عن أنس رضي الله عنه. He says, there used to be a man that comes from the Badia يعني desert. His name is Zahir, Sahabi. He used to come from the desert and he would bring the Prophet ﷺ from the desert things. You know, people in the desert, they have some produce, some, or not produce, meaning some maybe things that they bring from the animals they have, etc. وكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم used to give him something from the city, because in the Medina it's a city in a sense. So he gives him something to take back with him to the desert. And he used to always, this Zahir used to always come, he would bring something, he would give some hadiyah to the Prophet ﷺ, and he would sell the rest in the market, in the bazaar there in Medina. Make some money, buys something and goes back to his home in the desert. One time, he was standing in the market selling his things. Bedouins are usually rough, tough people anyway. No, in the desert, in the desert there's nothing. There's sand, there's the sky, and there's the sun. That's all. No water. Ooh, there's scorpions, snakes. You get to sleep next to everything. You get tough. In the city, you have everything next to you. So you're, what they call paper generation. You push it like this, it goes. These guys, no problem. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw him in the market. He came from behind him. Azhar did not see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Zahir. He came and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam held him from the back, without Zahir knowing who it is, and says, "Who am I?" So this Zahir says, "Who is this? Who is this? Leave me." He turned, he saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَأَلْصَقَ ظَهْرَهُ رضي الله عنه. So Zahir, when he realized it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he pushed his back to touch the chest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at the love, huh? Desert men, desert people are tough again. Huh? They don't express love. They don't believe in public display of affection, even to their children. You see Hadith Hassan, one of the Sahaba, he saw the Prophet ﷺ kissing his Hassan and Hussein, on one of them. Hadith Rawa Abu Hurairah and others. He says, "Ya Rasulullah, tuhibbuhu? Do you love him?" The Prophet ﷺ said, "Yes, of course, I love him. He's my son, I love him." He says, "Ya Rasulullah, I have 10 children. I've never kissed any of them." 10 male children, huh? I don't know, we don't know how many females. He has 10 male children. He said, "I never kissed any of them." Because what? Bedouins, people of the desert at that time, you don't display public affection. Even if you love your child. You love your child, but you don't kiss him. What is this kissing? This is But the Prophet ﷺ changed that. He told them, "What do I do if Allah took mercy away from your heart? You should have that mercy." But this Zahir radiallahu anhu, from the Badiyah, from the desert, when he sees that the Prophet ﷺ is the one that was holding him and raising him, pulling him like this, he puts his back towards the chest of the Prophet ﷺ, wanting that he that he touches the honorable chest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the love that moved these people. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam held them up and says, who will buy this slave? Because they were in the market. Who will buy this slave from me? Azhar, Rawi al-Hadith, yani Anas says, وَكَانَ ذَمِيمًا, yani he was an ugly or unsightly. He was not good looking man. Not good looking at all. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, who's going to buy this slave from me? He's not really a slave. But still he said that, as you know, jesting with him. Then Sayyidina Zahir radiallahu anhu says, إِذَنْ تَجِدُنِي وَاللَّهِ كَاسِدًا. Ya Rasulullah, nobody will buy me, I'm ugly. People want to buy good looking people. They're not going to buy someone like me. تَجِدُنِي وَاللَّهِ كَاسِدًا. You will find me, you will be stuck with me, no one will buy me. If you try to sell me, no one will buy. I'm telling you from now. Because they don't value me, because they think I am ugly looking. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, وَلَكِنَّكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ غَالٍ. But to Allah, you are very expensive.
Allah. Subhanallah.
To the people, you may not be valuable. They don't. But, O Zahir, to Allah, وَلَكِنَّكَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. But to Allah, you are very expensive. Yani, in the sense, very valuable. And that shows you how the suhbah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the mahabbah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam changed people. And how they were saying things like that, and how the relationship of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in. And today, my dear beloved, we have a need for that kind of environment to recreate. Today there's a void of love, not just in the community, in the world. Today the world runs 24/7, no stopping. People try to, what can I listen to so I can be, I can have some tranquility, some sukoon. They can't. There's no more mental clarity anymore because you have to work 24/7. You have to do everything. All these things, the barakah is taken away and removed. The only way for us to restore anything is to go back to the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hadith has Hasan sanad in this, inshallah, yani in this في هذا المقام, let's say, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given a choice, Nabiullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he has the mountain of Uhud all gold for him. You want the mountain of Uhud turned gold? Have it. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam refused. Why? He says, أشبع يوما وأجوع يوما. In the hadith, he says, oh Allah, so at least, so one day, if I don't have it, one day I will eat my full, or fill my stomach, though he never filled his stomach sallallahu alaihi wasallam at all. One day I will eat, and one day I won't have anything to eat. So I spend one day in shukr when I eat, in thankfulness, and one day in sabr when I don't have anything to eat. So I spend my life between shukr and sabr, basically. But if I have everything, you might, And that's why, again, I want to say Allah Ta'ala gave us so many things, my dear beloved brothers and sisters. Gave us time, gave us health, gave us wealth. Every one of us is wealthy. Wealth is in the heart. Gave us so many things. Iman. But we have to actualize these things so we can feel them, we can live them. Because these precious moments are moments that you will take with you, not now, not creating memories for the dunya. These moments you'll take them to Jannah, inshallah. These moments you'll bank on, inshallah. You'll say, Ya Allah, the hadith that I mentioned to you, 7 of a 7th, that Allah Ta'ala grants a shade in the day of judgment. And what? 2 people love each other for the sake of Allah. Like this. Look how Allah rewards on love. Ajib. Reward on love. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us that Allah Ta'ala rewards on love. That if you love someone for Allah's sake, nothing, just for Allah, you are eligible. For that love, it is pure, for the sake of Allah. Because you did that, Allah will grant you His rahmah on the Day of Judgment. You will be granted a shade when no one is given a shade but those whom Allah grants. Who are they? وَرَجُلَانِ تَحَابَّا فِي اللَّهِ اجْتَمَعَا عَلَيْهِ وَافْتَرَقَا عَلَيْهِ. Two people, they love each other for Allah. They meet on Allah and they separate on Allah. Look how Islam even not only encourages you to love, but rewards you for love. And today, this world that we live in requires this, because the Ummah, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, in this time, in this 14th century of Hijrah, is in disarray. In disarray. The Ummah has lost lots of direction. I'm not worried about Islam. Islam is the deen of Allah. I worry about Muslims. Islam is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deen. But Muslims can come and go. And when you look at the state of Muslims today, you see, how can we offer people love if we don't first institutionalize it and instill it in ourselves and practice it with ourselves? How can we offer others forgiveness if we don't forgive each other? How can we offer others inclusivity if we're not inclusive with each other and all these things? So my dear beloved, we need to go back to the times of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله تافر وضح من حقك بس
where the ummah was an ummah of love, an ummah of khair. Kuntum khayra ummah. And the ummah will always be khair, even if there is one salih, wali salih of it. And the point is, we want to be part of that movement of salihin, part of the movement of the awliya. We don't want to just live to eat. What an awful waste of time. That you live your whole life so you can eat, and then, okay, so you ate, and then, then what? What difference have you made in this life? And the only difference is impact on the souls, not impact on the sand. Because everything from the sand will go back to sand. Everything on this earth you see, whether it's water, trees, gold, silver, mountains, oceans, will all be part of, you cannot take anything out of it. On earth will always remain on earth until Allah Ta'ala destroys it, takes it and changes it. You can't take any of it. Go ahead, build a building. Take it with you. Take it with you. Pharaoh built it. Remember when Pharaoh built a tower? قال يا هامان ابن لي صرحا ابن لي صرحا build a tower for me. He built a tower. What happened to Pharaoh? Can he take the tower with him? He couldn't take anything with him. The only impact that is lasting is your iman, your amal, and what you've impacted on the others, the reforming aspect. That's why Islam gives on selfless love, not on selfish love as much. But selfless love also makes you love yourself. Because if you love yourself really, you love Allah. If you really love yourself, you love Allah. If you really love yourself, you love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you don't love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means you don't really love yourself. If you're a believer and your love to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is weak, guess what? You don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. Ya miskeen, if you loved yourself better, you know where you need to put your love. And that's how we need to do, inshallah. I don't want to take too long, inshallah. We'll wrap up and we'll allow for questions if you have questions. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our days and times fruitful and to give us oases of Jannah. These dhikr of Allah or majalis of dhikr that sometimes we go, especially if there's presence, if there is ikhlas, there's malaika around us. And these are precious moments. You can't get them, you can't buy them with any money. You can't buy them with anything. So I ask Allah Ta'ala to accept these moments from us. And to gather us all, before gathering us, to cleanse our hearts and to purify our hearts and to purify our gaze, so that our gaze is eligible for the sight of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to purify our heart so it is eligible to house the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to purify our body so we are able to perform our ibadah properly and correctly, and to enable us to do something with our lives that is lasting, that the return on our investment, if it's time or whatever it is, it's much more lasting than our lives, inshaAllah. And I ask Allah Ta'ala not to take us except on the best of states and the highest of iman and the best of amal, and to make our best days our last, and to take us to Him after He is totally pleased with us. So look, the concept of Medina is very simple. The concept of Medina is back to basics. And the basics I mean here, the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, it doesn't mean that we disrespect cultures of people. No, we embrace the cultures, no problem, as long as they're consistent with the book and the Sunnah. So the concept of Medina was to go back to the Quran and the Sunnah and empower people rather than indoctrinate them. Because the concept was not to make parrots, but the concept is what? To empower and to hand the keys. Here are the keys to knowledge. Go. Not so you can make a copy. Copy, that's Xerox. You go to Xerox, they make copies. The point is to make them think. Medina Institute is about a critical thinking frame. Dalil. Why? Who? When? Not just take information and just copy and then say, upload and download. That was the whole concept, and you will be surprised. The Medina Institute South Africa, the NIYA was launched right here in this area, and not in Cape Town. Though we started in Cape Town, but it was in a house in the area here, the Greater Gauteng area, let's say, right? Is that correct? Would that be Greater Gauteng area correct? I don't know the areas. So in this area, that's when we intended. We sat in one of the brothers' house, Allah bless him, and we intended, all right, we're gonna actually do it. So the reason we did it in Cape Town is simply because it's facilities and all that. But I think our goal, inshallah, is to bring it elsewhere as well, also this area. But what I would say to you, look, you have children, males or females. If they have an attitude towards the deen, that's good. If they have aptitude and altitude, if they have a passion towards the deen, and they're smart, and I'm sure most of them are smart, if not all of them, send them for that 1 year. If you send students there, what we can do is, once we train them, then once we're ready to open here, they'll be able to help us, and they'll lead it. You don't want to always import me, or import people from India, or import people from Syria, or import people from Pakistan, or import people from Moonistan. I'm just saying. So you want to build local capacity. Who knows you here in this area more than your locality? Who knows your needs? Who knows your feeling? With all the respect, I may know some knowledge or some information, but I don't really know all your needs well. Somebody who knows better responds better to your needs. You need to have homegrown, build local capacity. Homegrown scholars who are trained, who can answer the needs of time. Today, the needs of time is not just repeating some information that we designed 300 years ago. The needs of time is now to respond also to atheism, to respond to secularism that's anti-religious, to respond to scientism that says there's no God, to respond to all kinds of issues that are bombarding the Muslim youth everywhere, to respond to the violence carried in the name of the religion, regardless whether actually religious people carry it or not, to separate the religion from the religious, To say that the religious doesn't really mean the religion. Religion is one thing, that's the standard. The religious, it's a claim, let's verify. Right? That you need these young people to be able to say, all right, no violence in the name of the deen, not in our name, not even intellectual terrorism. You can't terrorize and label people in the name of the deen. That means you're a gang member, you're a mafia. And Islam is not a place for a mafia. Islam is a place for reform, for spiritual enlightenment, for compassion, for education, for mahabba, for love. That's what the deen is. It's not a gang and a cult and a territory. So, but you need people who can take that message and go through, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala enable us all. Once we have the capacity, rest assured, it's definitely my niyyah and everybody in the team's niyyah. I mean, we've gone so many years now, and we intend until the last day of our lives to keep trying to do as much as we can. May Allah Ta'ala, I ask you to make dua that Allah guides us on the footsteps of Rasulullah so that we don't swerve not even one, and that if we are wrong, that Allah brings us back and always corrects us every time. That we stand corrected always on the book and the authentic prophetic sunnah, and that He makes us useful and helpful, and that He also use us for His sake, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الخاتم لما سبق والفاتح لمن غلق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلاة دائمة كاملة تامة ترضيك وترضيه وترضى بها عنا يا رب العالمين اشف اللهم مرضانا عاف مبتلانا فك أسرانا ارحم موتانا يا رب العالمين اجعل اللهم مجلسنا هذا مجلسا مرحوما تفرقنا من بعده معصوما لا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما Ya Allah, everyone who came to our majlis, this majlis of yours tonight, Ya Allah, Lord, don't let them leave except with all their sins forgiven, Ya Rabbal Alameen, their maqam and their station risen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Ya Allah, everyone who had any illness or any disease, Ya Allah, turn that into ease. Ya Rabbal Alameen, everyone who had any needs, Ya Allah, grant them their needs, increase their rizq, give them their barakah, Ya Allah, protect them, protect their children, their families, their relatives, Ya Allah, protect their iman. Ya Allah, don't let us leave this dunya except that you are pleased with us. Make, Ya Rabbal Alameen, our last words, La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Assemble us, Ya Allah, on the feet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, around his feet, in this dunya and in the barzakh and in the akhirah. Forgive our sins, Ya Rabbal Alameen, وجعلنا صالحين غير فاتنين ولا مفتونين. صل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآله والحمد لله رب العالمين.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك بس بلاش العين لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك هدي وارتاح ثابر